What's up, guys? It's Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be breaking down how wide receivers can increase their speed coming out of their breaks. So we're going to be talking about your guys' foot strike, how you guys can make a faster speed cut, how you guys can use your arms to get you out of a break faster with more balance, and how you guys can get more separation because of your speed when you snap down. So I hope this video helps you guys out. Hope it teaches you a few things about route running, making cuts, and just being an efficient overall football player. So again, hope this video helps, but also, fellas, if you're a wide receiver and you want to train with us this offseason, we are hosting 4 more training camps across the U.S. for QBs and wide receivers. Next up on our training camp tour, we're coming out to Dallas, Texas. Then we're heading out to Nashville, Tennessee, Salt Lake City, Utah, and Los Angeles, California. So if you guys want some more information on our camps, what we'll be covering, it's a 2-day-long camp, and it's 4 hours each day. So it's a ton of work, ton of reps, and it's a small group environment. So check out that very first link below, fellas. Hope you guys could check that out. Let's get started. So now, first things first, when you guys make that speed cut at the top of the route, it's so important that you strike the ground correctly and you drive off of that cut leg correctly. So when you come up to this break, so many wide receivers, they'll reach out for their cuts, and that's what makes them lose a lot of speed. They won't cut inside of their frame. So they'll be like, and this is where wide receivers get in trouble when they train. You know, they'll set up cones. They'll have cones at a certain distance away, and people are so concerned with getting to the cones. They'll reach out for the break, or they try to reach out to sell it. That's not what we want to do. A DB is not looking at your feet. So you never want to reach when you make a cut. He is looking at your hips. He is trying to read your body language. And the second you start to reach out with the cut leg is the second a DB starts to see a change in your pad level, a change in your body language, and he will sit on the break. So you want to make sure that you keep that cut inside your frame. Now, I see a lot of wide receivers cut inside their frame, but they don't have any explosion, because what will happen is they'll either pop up or they just won't drive this way. They won't drive out. And that comes from the foot strike. So if you guys are running full speed into a route, everybody knows that we're trying to sell what on a route? We're trying to sell fade. We're trying to make this DB think I'm running deep so he could open up his hips, and then I could get separation on a dime. So when I'm running up into a route and I'm cut, and let's say I strike the ground on my very, very tippy toes, you're not going to have any balance, fellas. That's just how it is. You want to think of it like you're doing a squat in the gym. When you break and you're on your tippy toes and you have a lot of momentum leading into the break, you're going to drift forward and you're going to drift off of the break. And that's how you don't have speed. Now, the opposite end of the spectrum, what a lot of wide receivers will do is when they hit that cut leg, they'll go heel and then toe. So they'll strike with their heel first. Your body physically can't absorb force on your heel like that. So that will put a lot of pressure on your knee, on your ankle, and what will happen is you will pop up. So when you go heel and everything pops up, when you're obviously taller, you don't have any speed out of the break as well. So where you need to strike the ground is you want to strike the ground on the arch of the foot like this wide receiver does. When you make that cut, you're shooting the foot down, and it's on the arch, because that arch puts you in a position to where you could have this positive shin angle. Now, I'm not saying you want your knee to cave in, and this might be a little bit too much. I don't even necessarily need your knee to cave in this much, but I want you to strike off the arch so you can push off the inside arch, because that push off of the arch right there allows you to open up your hip like so. And then when you drive your arms, which is what we're going to talk about in a second, you can get out of that break much faster. When you cut, it's not just about cutting to stop. It's about cutting to create energy to drive you out of the break. So when you guys cut on that arch, that puts you in a position almost like a pitcher when he's throwing off of the mound. He's pushing off of that rubber. That's how you want to think of that cut. You cut first. You don't push as you cut, because that can cause your knee to cave. But when you cut off that arch, you want to push off that arch to be able to create some explosion and drive out of the break and get more speed. So when you want more speed on your speed cuts, those single cuts, focus on striking inside your frame, strike the ground on the arch of the foot, and push. Anytime you guys are doing drill work, anytime you guys are working on your cutting, even when you're going half speed, you should solely be emphasizing that foot strike and that foot placement on the route. Let's play this thing again full speed one more time, then we'll take a look at this route from Keenan Allen that shows how your arms can bail you out and get you out of a break much, much faster. Great route here by this wide receiver, and great catch making that play in traffic. So now we're looking at this route from Keenan Allen, and when he makes this break, I want you to watch his left arm. Okay, so this is something that a lot of wide receivers don't do. They're taught at the top of a break when they drop down to like have their hands go dead, beat the drum. You want to keep your arms natural, but you want to be able to run into a break and run out. I always use the comeback example because that's easy for guys to understand. Let's say you're lined up, let's say the quarterback's here, you're lined up on the right side, right? You're over here, and you're running a comeback. When you hit that break point, your goal is to break on a dime, but also run out of the break. You want to be able to run in and run out. So your arms have to rip you out of this break. So Keenan Allen here is running this like kind of like post out route, I guess you could say, but watch what his left arm does. In this situation, if you're running a post out, if you're running just a regular out route, you want to take this arm that opens up your hips, I guess. So if you're breaking to the left side of things, it would be your left arm. If you're breaking to the right, it would be your right arm. But the break side arm, you want to treat it like you're trying to elbow somebody behind you. You see how when he's coming out of this break, this elbow swings back, because that swing of the elbow will rip your hips out of there, but also that swing of the elbow will keep your arms natural and keep your arms active to run you out of the break. Because I could do the correct foot strike all day long. I could cut on the inside or cut on the arch of the foot, push off the inside arch, but if your hands aren't working, you're going to be 50% slower, because that's 50% of the motion. So you want to make sure that your arms are ripping you out of this thing and your arms stay driving. You want to create energy with the hip drop, with the cut, whatever it might be, and we're going to talk about that hip drop here in a second. But you want to use your arms to get you out of the break and to get you out of the break smoothly. The thing about getting out of breaks faster is you have to make a tight cut, right? You cannot drift on your cuts. Like if you're running fast, you're selling a route and you try to break, but your arms don't work and you're just using your legs, chances are, one, you'll be slow, but two, you'll probably drift on the route because you're not getting your hips and shoulders out of there. And that can give that DB more time to react. You drop, you're driving off the cut leg, you're driving off the arch, but use your arms to rip you out of there, because those arms ripping will get you out smoother, tighter, and faster. Let's play this thing again, full speed one more time. Great job by Keenan Allen, working back over the top, selling this post route, and then getting out of the break by elbowing somebody with that cut side arm. Okay, so now, how do you guys get more speed when you snap down at the top of the break? And that's by something I call getting low, but also staying low. Okay, so obviously everybody knows when you snap down, when you drop into a break, this wide receiver is running a dig route with an outside release where a DB's like hip to hip with it. So when you run this dig route, so important, fellas, that when you drop down into the break, you don't pop up right after. Okay, because it's the same thing as that speed cut. When you strike the ground heel toe, like we were talking about in the very beginning, your body's going to pop up, right? You go heel toe, everything's going to pop up. So when you make this break at the top of the route, when you snap down, you don't want to drop super low and then pop right up after, because you're going to lose that explosion. You're going to lose that speed out of the break. So this is a good example of that. So let's play at full speed. So this wide receiver is running, gives a little jab, and is able to snap down. You see how much speed he's able to get out of that. So when you ever get a DB in this situation where his hips are committed vertical and you got to snap down, like the only way that you could slip back underneath him is by getting low, number one. But this DB, a lot of times, this DB kind of had a very slow break and he opened up, but sometimes a DB might do something called a speed turn, where instead of him opening up at his hips right here, he might just straight up turn and try to run and meet you at that break point. And they call it a speed turn for a reason, because it's fast. So the reason why you need this speed out of the break is to give that DB not enough time to recover. If we sold vertical like I was supposed to do, we were able to drop on a dime, I'm going to get separation. But it's what happens after the break point that usually makes or breaks guys. Are you going to cruise out of the break? Are you going to have balance? Are you going to drift? Because I'm a firm believer anybody could self-fade and anybody could cut quickly. But how do you get out of the break? Can you get out of the break efficiently, right? So when he goes up here, when he snaps down, obviously he's getting to a low spot. This is textbook. You want to drop your hips. You want to try to think of it like you're trying to bring a chin to your knee. I've been saying this expression a lot with my guys. Think of it like a soda can and somebody's crushing the can straight down. That's how you want to think of your body. Somebody put their hand on the very top and they crush that can. So when you drop like this, a lot of wide receivers will snap down, but then when they get to their second step, they start to pop up. They get their third step down, they start to pop up, and they're completely standing. And then that causes extra steps. It causes them to drift upfield. And the break is crappy because you're not getting out at a sharp turn. But when you guys could snap down and stay low, 1, 2, 3, and stay low, this explosive position right here, if you're stepping powerful, you're striking the ground on the arch of your foot, you're not going heel toe, if you stay low and you have that correct foot strike and that correct push, you could create a ton of energy. Think of it like a 40-yard dash. For those first 5 yards, what are you doing? You're trying to drive. You have that, they call it a drive phase. You're trying to stay low and explosive. You're not popping up and trying to run. You're staying low for 5 and driving, or maybe even low for 10. So the last 30 yards, you could stand up and accelerate. Just like after the break point on a route. You want to try to get low and powerful so we could use that to shoot me out of the break, aka the last 30 yards of a 40, the acceleration phase of the top speed phase. I'm not a 40-yard dash expert, but that's that's what they would call it, right? Same idea with the brake, fellas. When you snap down, let's not just get low and pop up. Let's get low, let's stay low, and let's try to drive my feet so I can get out of that brake efficiently, but also quickly. Let's play this thing again, full speed one more time. Great job by this wide receiver snapping down, staying low, and using those feet to drive him out. All right, fellas, I really want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. If you guys have any questions at all, don't hesitate to leave those in the comment section below. It's always great to hear the feedback from you guys. You guys help keep this channel going, so we definitely appreciate it. And again, fellas, if you would like to come out to one of our off-season training camps, we are traveling out to Dallas, Texas, Nashville, Tennessee, Salt Lake City, Utah, and Los Angeles, California. So check out that very first link in the description below if you want to come train with us this off-season for the remainder of this year. Check out that very first link, like we said. I'll see you guys next time.